There's 250 plus compliance frameworks that exist in the world. Why? I don't know. Everyone thinks that theirs is better than the other. It differs by industry. It differs by country. There's just a whole mess of requirements. And what are compliance frameworks? I like to think of compliance frameworks as rule books because they're comprised of a bunch of controls. Controls are like requirements. Requirements are like rules. And if we start thinking about them like rules, why wouldn't we want just one rule book as our source of truth? Instead of 250 arbitrary rule books, why can't we just have one?
So the idea of unified controls is certainly not a new idea. There's many companies and tools on the market that are mapping requirements to different control frameworks to eliminate the reproduction of work. This has been around for a while. I do think, though, as an industry, we haven't leaned into what a unified control catalog should be. And given that new requirements are appearing every year, especially with the boom of AI,
another one.
A really big industry shift is needed, right? Other than the GRC guys of the world, the fun guys who have to think about all these different rule books, frameworks, no one really cares where requirements coming from. They just want to know what they have to do. You're wrangling all of these groups in engineering to customer success to legal. Having a unified controls framework allows the real requirements that need to be done by all these groups to be understood with less jargon in a more direct fashion. Let's talk about the secure controls framework. I've been plugging this a lot lately. I've been really hyping it up, but the SCF, or the secure controls framework, is a unified control catalog, and it's maintained by an industry group of volunteers. It gets updated on a quarterly basis, and it's free. And we love free, and it's comprehensive. So if the SCF is so sick, why isn't everyone using it? Well, it's a giant Excel spreadsheet, so it's extremely hard to operationalize that.
Brother, what's that?
As a practitioner, would never be able to use this Excel sheet in any useful way, and it often adds more confusion than it would be helpful. There's a UI issue. And so how did we fix that? We decided to take a stab at it at Swimlane. We started ingesting that Excel sheet into Swimlane Turbine.
We make it look easy.
Well, we were able to get this into a UI that makes sense and has all of these control mappings done on the back end. So we're just worried about the unified controls. This isn't a sales pitch. I'm illustrating the idea of a framework agnostic list of rules that I can use to assign ownership, look at different control domains, while also having the visibility of the specific frameworks like ISO 27001 or HIPAA that we care about, not having to really go into the weeds in that documentation. A tool just automate the mappings. And so when we think about compliance automation, I mean, there's many, many layers, but I don't think you can even start automating complex controls without first getting the scaffolding of where you're categorizing those tests to go into. A pretty money calculation that we did out of this was what we call the total mapped framework controls. So we just summed all of the mappings in the SCF to see what controls are high touch, what unified controls are high impact for our program. So we can prioritize what documentation makes sense to go really hard on, as opposed to just this sort of nuanced policy in one framework out of the, like I said, 250.
My yard. Wait. All of you.
Daddy, chill.
Compliance automation is ripe for innovation, but you gotta get a grip on those unified controls. AI won't save us from stupid ideas.